All right. Good evening, everybody. This is the Schell Games Dinner with the Devs, our October 2019 night edition. We have some members from the Pittsburgh Knights here with us. So welcome to the stream. If you have any questions, feel free to put them into the live chat. We're going to be monitoring that. So anything that we're talking about today, our game Until You Fall, our participation in DreamHack, what the Pittsburgh Knights are up to and what their plans are for DreamHack, and anything in between. We can talk generally about the esports scene and what's going on in the gaming industry. So any questions that you have, put it in the live chat, and we'll make sure that we try to get to it. So first we'll have our guests introduce themselves. We'll go around and we'll start from there.
Sure. So I guess my name is Will Flanagan. I am the community and online events manager for the Pittsburgh Knights. So I run pretty much all of our community things, online tournaments, Reddit stuff. Yeah, that's kind of my job.
And my name's Taylor Lawrence. I am partnership activations and merchandise manager for the Knights, and so I'm responsible for all of the merchandise in our web store, in addition to, fulfilling our deliverables with our partners, some of which HyperX, Smile Direct Club, and I'm missing one, Sheets. Love Sheets. They're
Sheets.
A great partner.
Cool. And speaking of merchandise, I'm rocking this sweet hat from the Pittsburgh Knights. Whenever I saw it at Replay FX, I was like, I have to get it. So Dwayne, part of the marketing team here at Schell Games.
Hey, I'm Tyler. I've been on the stream before. I'm an artist at Schell. I'm a big esports fan in general. I've followed the Knights since they started. So
We have maybe empty chair. Matt might be in his ghost costume. We have Matt. Matt's coming to the stream shortly. He's just trying to wrap up some business stuff for the day. And then our moderator for the live stream, our fantastic marketing coordinator, Allie. So she will be making sure that we get to all of your questions. So let's get started with a little bit more about the Knights. Some people might not know that Pittsburgh also has a esports team, and the way that the organization is approaching esports as well is kind of unique, of having a identity, having a location. So I just introduce the stream a little bit more about the Knights and what you guys do.
So the Pittsburgh Knights, we were founded in 2017, and Pittsburgh, being the Pittsburgh Knights, is really a core part of our identity. We are very, very focused on bringing Pittsburgh to the forefront and highlighting it to the rest of the world, because gaming, is a global pastime, global everything. So we just want to highlight the city of Pittsburgh, and also make sure that we're bringing esports events and gaming events to the city. So instead of, traveling to, say, Boston for PAX East, Seattle for PAX West, what if there was a PAX Pittsburgh?
Ooh.
Just imagine, Yeah.
Cool. So what games are the Knights currently competing in?
Sure. So
I know there are a lot, so you could say, what are in season right now?
Sure.
That might narrow it down a little bit.
So right now we're competing in Smite. We actually just qualified for World Championships down at DreamHack in Atlanta, so we're super pumped for that.
Woo.
We are in our last 2 weeks, I believe, of our Rocket League regular season with our new team. They've been doing a phenomenal job. They're second place overall. It's phenomenal. Our Paladins team is going to go into play-ins for the World Championships, also down at DreamHack Atlanta. And then I think our PUBG Mobile team, too, is also about to hopefully qualify for an ESL LAN, which will be a phenomenal opportunity. So those are kind of the four major ones that are really going right now. Did I forget anything?
Our regular PUBG in the PEL, so the European League, they actually just wrapped up their season. Unfortunately, we did not qualify for the World Championships, but we're looking and we're ready to go for the next season. So come 2020.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing, though, for the PEL just to be one of the teams that was selected to be part of the regular matches is phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, when we're going up against, a name like Team Liquid, which, has been around esports forever, it's really great to see, the Pittsburgh Knights right next to them in the standings sometimes.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So, how's the reception been in just the city of having an esports team and competing? You guys have recently had some pretty exciting announcements of Penguin, getting some investment, working with the Steelers. Like you said, Sheets as a sponsor. Like those are all pretty big names, and not just Pennsylvania, but Pittsburgh as well. So the reception seems to be pretty positive.
It's definitely been really great. We're fortunate enough to have a really nice community that already exists within our own brand. But one time when I kind of was able to witness firsthand what the true opinion of Pittsburgh would be towards us as a company was back in the beginning of September. We actually worked with Ribfest to do a gaming zone inside Heinz Field. And coincidentally, that was also the weekend of Pitt's home opener. So we had all of these classic Pittsburgh football fans in Heinz Field along with us running an esports setup and Madden for anyone to come up and play. So you would have everybody of all the generations coming up and talking to us and trying to learn more about it. And the reaction was very positive. I mean, even the people who hadn't really heard of us or who you might not think would be an endemic person to esports, their response would be like, oh, well, even though I don't know about it, great for you, and we're glad that you're here and doing this in Pittsburgh. And even some people from older age groups who were there and did not really realize that there was such a thing as competitive video games. They'd say, well, it's a generational thing, but we're super psyched that you're here and we wish you the best of luck. So the reception's been very positive and we're very excited.
Yeah, and kind of to build off of that, being the Pittsburgh Knights and branding ourselves black and gold, you don't have to buy any new merchandise necessarily. You can still rep the same Pittsburgh colors that you always have. And it's really important to us to carry on the legacy of Pittsburgh being the city of champions, into esports.
Very cool. I mean, I know Tyler and I, we can kind of see in the studio the kind of excitement that we've seen with, just esports and then, the Knights in general.
Yeah, it's cool too to I have a bunch of friends that are not really esports people. They don't understand the scene enough. They get what it is, but they'll see an animal name, liquid, some weird shape, and they're like, oh, Pittsburgh. Oh yeah, that. I get that team because it is a thing I identify with from hockey or football. It's so it's so powerful for people who aren't in my culture, Yeah.
Well, we actually had one of the casters for a Smite tournament that we hosted. His name is JMac, and he's one of the large community casters. He was going to a barbecue with his family, and he was saying to them, oh, I gotta go out a little bit early. I'm gonna go and cast this thing for this esports team. And of course not that many of them really knew what esports was. And they say, oh, well, what's the team? And he said, oh, well, they're from Pittsburgh. And everyone went, oh, yeah, Pittsburgh. It's great to hear that you're getting involved with Pittsburgh. And it's just really nice, that kind of reception that the name has and the community that it's inherently built. So
Yeah.
Very cool, very cool. So one of the main reasons why we wanted to get together is because both of us, Schell Games and Pittsburgh Knights, were going down to DreamHack Atlanta. And this is Schell Games' first official visit to DreamHack. And whenever I told some of the developers in the studio, they was like, yeah, we're going to DreamHack Atlanta. They're like, wait, Schell goes to those type of events? I was like that's so hype. And so I was like, oh yeah. And so whenever I learned a little bit more about DreamHack, it's like, this is going to be a thing. It's going to be super, super exciting. And so like you guys said, you have your a couple teams competing there. So what is it like building up to either one or a couple teams competing at this event?
It has honestly been insane. So our Smite team, they're the ones that are 100% confirmed to be competing at the High Res Expo Smite World Championships at DreamHack. So for the past couple of weeks, they have done nothing but scrim and practice. A lot of them, you'll see if they're not scrimming, they're streaming, playing solo queue. They're just trying out every build they possibly can, trying to figure out which of their the characters are the strongest, which item combinations. They're really hard to get a hold of right now because of it, which is both a blessing and a curse. But we also have the potential of, Paladins competing if they qualify through play-ins, and then PUBG Mobile if they, place high enough in their next couple of games. So to have 3 teams at one event that could be competing for a title is like the greatest thing in the world, and it's so hype. Our social media team is just going back and forth, like, how can we promote this, and trying to line up schedules and making sure that we don't miss a moment. And, we're trying to get boots on the ground to get photos, video, because this is really big for us. We were at, I say at because we hadn't announced the Peeps as our Rocket League team yet, but they had their presence at DreamHack Montreal when they won the Rocket League tournament, and so it'll be nice to finally have the Knights name attached to those competing. So we're really excited.
And before the stream, I kind of stopped the Rocket League talk so we could get the stream started, so we could kind of pick this up. And I guess we could back up a little bit so you guys could tell the story about Rocket League in Pittsburgh. And you can check out the Pittsburgh swag that the Knights have. You can go to their Discord, kind of see the conversation and the announcement of Pittsburgh, because it was cool to see. And then you can go to their website, the knights.gg, to see the merch link and get from there. So, bring it back. Pittsburgh, Rocket League. I know you had a lot of questions with Rocket League too, so we could bring that into the mix.
Kind of want to introduce the Peeps?
Sure. So the Peeps were an RLRS team, which is a minor league team.
And to spell it RLCS for the whole stream.
So RLCS is the major league team, is the major league series. That is the Rocket League Championship Series, I believe. Mm-hmm. And then there's the RLRS. I actually don't know what that acronym is. But
Rocket League something series.
It's their minor league.
Sounds right.
Yeah. And the Peeps were one of the best minor league teams, so they qualified for DreamHack Montreal, and they went in and against almost all odds, just completely demolished, and they ended up getting placed into losers bracket because they did lose a little bit. And then they went through losers bracket entirely and then made it into the finals against a team called G2 Esports. And G2 is this massive European team that has a decent following and have just been world champions in Rocket League multiple times. So going in, of course, it was a little bit worrying because here we are, this small little RLRS team taking on a Titan, and we beat them. And it was really great because if you watch some of the content that G2 was putting out, they went into it saying, like, we're the best team in the world, good luck, and then we did it. So it was just really neat to watch them do that, and that was kind of when they rose to prominence, and we were really fortunate to kind of scout them before they won Montreal and before they became kind of the Titan that now we're slowly becoming, and we were lucky enough to be able to bring them on and have them join the Knights family.
Yeah, I would recommend, if you have the time or if you care to learn more about the Peeps and kind of their story and how, we've integrated with the Knights. Our announcement video was actually really, really hype. Credits to our content team on putting that together, because we hadn't announced them when they were competing at DreamHack Montreal, and so they won, and we still couldn't say anything. And so more weeks passed, and finally we were able to say something, but not after we had already flown them. We flew them to Pittsburgh for a weekend, kind of showed them around, introduced them to the organization, took them on their first Sheets run, which was fantastic. And then we took them to a haunted house, which we should have a piece coming out on that soon. We had some GoPros strapped to them, so you can see some reactions there.
Oh, that's so good.
It was really funny.
Took them to the Steelers game.
Yeah,
too.
they went to a Steelers
it.
game. It was so much fun having them here. And, like Will was saying, now they're out there. They beat 2 of the big 3, and then the last of the big 3 we took to 5 out of 5 games. So unfortunately we dropped the final match, but they're in a position to be number 1 or number 2 for the season, which is just really exciting.
I'm also pretty sure we're the only team that managed to take Energy, who is the number 1 team, to a full series of games. No one else has been able to do that. Everyone else has been getting completely swept by them, so it was really nice to go in, and even though we didn't win, to at least make a game out of it and hold our own for a long time.
So yeah, just taking the Peeps and the Pittsburgh Knights, get Pittsburgh, and they're just going to take the world by storm. Honestly,
great.
So
it's really exciting.
Don't give away the secret sauce. Give it but How did you guys know that they were so skilled when it seems like everyone else sort of like was blindsided?
We didn't.
Oh, is this lucky?
So a lot of credit goes more towards our esports and games department, I guess you could say. They just do their scouting, they do their research. So, not only are they putting in the hours at the office and doing the regular, hours there, but afterwards, Garrett, who was one of the people on the project, he watched Rocket League VODs.
Yeah.
And, he not only talked to the teams themselves, but he talked to other people in the space. And it's just a lot of information collecting. And I think at the end of the day, too, it's just, what feels right, in your gut. And I guess they just really had that competitive drive to do really well and shake up the space. And that's how we ended up with them. And so,
if you want
so
to
far,
see,
so good.
if you want to see the rest of the story, make sure you check out the release video that we did with the peeps, because there's some really nice kind of heartwarming testimony from the peeps themselves about coming into the Knights family. So check that out.
Yeah, they're a great bunch of kids,
They're
and so
awesome.
we really enjoy having them.
Yeah.
Cool. So I guess to Tyler's point, whenever you talk about scouting and looking for teams, and just like Tyler, so you don't have to like giving your secret. But what's is there an average time of finding the team and getting them to join the Knights, or does it depend on the game?
I think it definitely varies from game to game. Rocket League is one of those games that it's been around for a little bit. Its esports scene has exploded. It's huge. You get 50 to 100,000 concurrent viewers, for the streams. And so we were kind of looking at that as our next big entry, because PUBG was our first. And,
right.
We always have a soft spot for them. But when it comes down to it, part of the Knights, in general as a business model, is you want to attract sponsors to help, drive revenues. And so when you're in games like PUBG, and even with like the new Call of Duty League and stuff that's been announced, there are a lot of sponsors that are very hesitant to go into red blood games.
Mm-hmm.
And so Rocket League is a very digestible, non-red blood IP, and it just really made sense for us to kind of diversify our games portfolio that way.
Very cool.
It's also super accessible, which is really nice. Anyone can look at Rocket League and be able to pick up on what's going on, because it's just soccer with cars. So it's really nice to be able to show sponsors what the game is, because if you're trying to show a sponsor a MOBA like Smite, they just look at it and they're sometimes like, what is going on here? Yeah.
Very cool. Cool. Let's see, so what excites you guys the most about going to DreamHack? Which DreamHack is, I don't think we announced the dates. The DreamHack Atlanta is November 15th through the 17th. We're going to be in the expo, so it's 12 to 8 Friday and Saturday, and then 11 to 7 on Sunday. But I think the tournament times are a little bit different.
Yeah, they haven't announced the tournament
I didn't
times
think so,
yet.
yeah.
At least not for the High Res Expo, so the Smite and Paladins portions of it. I only know general days. But I will be at DreamHack also, cheering our teams on and kind of managing some things from the partnerships end, because I know HyperX, one of our sponsors, is going to be there too. So, do some booth appearances and stuff there. But, we're really looking forward to it. I'm excited to go. This will be my first DreamHack.
Oh, nice.
I've gone to both PAX East and PAX West.
Okay.
And so finally branching out into the more esports-centered events, I'm really excited for.
DreamHack is really cool. Yeah. It's different where there's no one walking around. Everyone's in seats somewhere watching something, so it's like an empty hall filled with people in the separate. Yeah.
Yeah,
Have you been to a DreamHack before?
Yeah, I went to one, I think 2. I'm old. 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago. I'm not sure. It's all fades, but
way back.
yeah, you have to like plan which games you want to watch, because sometimes they roll over if they go long. So it's like it'll schedule itinerary to keep track of. Don't miss matches.
Which one did you go to?
I went to Atlanta. I'm pretty
Oh,
sure
okay.
it was 2016.
So you must have went to one of the first ones, because DreamHack Atlanta's not that.
Yeah.
DreamHack Atlanta is relatively new.
It was either the second or the first. I'm not sure. I follow DreamHack a lot.
Oh, okay.
Because it's like you were saying earlier, off camera, that like the esports groups are very like niches. I follow Dota, and like that's my one esport, right? And I watch like PUBG and I watch Rocket League, but I don't really understand it. But I went for that because they've had Dream League in Sweden, and then the first time they were in the States was in Atlanta, as far as I know. And then going for there, like, oh, my Dota game is over, and there's not a match for like 4 hours, so like, I'm gonna go like, oh, like the Paladins is there, or like Smite's running. I'm gonna watch this. I don't understand what's going on, but it's like everyone's just freaking out.
Yeah.
It's really cool. Yeah,
that's cool. Yeah, I mean, I'm excited too. One, to just be able to represent Schell Games at a place like this, because this will be an audience that we haven't really been exposed to, or they be exposed to us. So, bringing Until You Fall, which is our virtual reality hack and slash roguelite, combat melee, magic, all types of stuff. You're just beating up dudes and with swords. And so to bring it to this type of competitive environment, I'm really, really interested to see the reception of it. So I think it'll be good. I don't think they like, I've seen the exhibitor map, but I don't know if it's public yet. They keep saying that they're going to roll it out, so I hope it's soon.
Like the general map has been posted of like the different areas, but I don't know what the smaller blocks are yet.
So I'm excited of where we are. So I hope DreamHack, if you're watching this. Release the exhibit map as soon as possible. That would be great. I'm excited for that to be my first one, to represent Schell Games at its first one. So it'll be cool. We have a 10 by 20 space where we're going to have a good amount of space. And it'll be fun. Allie will be coming along with is it your first DreamHack too? Yeah, so it's her first DreamHack, so it's just a first for a lot of people. And come on in! And so what you see off camera is Matt. Matt is coming in, and he can introduce himself.
Yep. Oh, hey, yes.
In the Knights jersey, too.
I've had this thing for, you guys have new ones now, right?
The Elite Legacy jersey, which is still available, by the way.
They're nice jerseys, we'll say.
Yeah.
I had this one for over a year, and it's still holding up really well.
Yeah, you have the Totinos on the sleeve.
I actually I ordered it before you guys had the sponsorship, and then while it was being made, like, that happened, so I showed up with that one.
Somebody intercepted the package and stamped it.
Yeah, that's right. Stop the presses!
Yeah, that's a truly limited edition jersey.
Oh, there you go.
It's what do you do here at Schell Games?
I am a senior engineer.
Excellent. So thank you, Matt. And clearly he is a esports fan as well. So we're just going over. We're talking about what we're excited about. DreamHack Atlanta. Have you been to a DreamHack before?
I have not.
Okay. Have you been to some type of conference where there were a bunch of esports going on?
I mean, esports, no, kind of. So every year I do World Board Gaming Championships, but that's purely not digital.
Yeah.
But it is like 10 days of board game tournaments. So somewhat similar.
Where's that?
So it used to be in Lancaster. Now it's in Seven Springs.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's global. People from all over the world come and compete. And there's about 100 different games.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool. See, I learned something new every time we do this stream.
And it's like another one of the, I had no idea about replay effects and the pinball tournament that it developed from until I joined the Knights.
Pinburgh,
and so, Pinburgh. It's the world's largest pinball tournament. It happens in Pittsburgh, and I had no idea.
And I always have to choose because that thing and replay are always the same week.
Oh.
Is it really?
So I have to I haven't been to Replay FX in years because I always go to the big board game tournament.
Huh. In Seven Springs. I just never would have known. Yeah. You're just opening new worlds for me, Matt. You just come in and just start spitting knowledge.
I'm going to put it out there, even weirder. One of the games that's competed in during that tournament is a game designed by our VP of Art's father.
No way. Huh.
This is a weird question. Is it quiet or is it loud?
It
it like
depends.
chess or like esports?
If you've ever been to, like a PAX floor? So like, there's an open gaming room, and that gets rowdy.
Okay. Yeah.
Because it's just people hanging out.
Okay.
But like actual tournament rooms, they can get pretty quiet with some things. It depends on the game. It's like anything.
I'm trying to imagine a board game tournament, and I don't know the setting. I imagine people sitting in.
I mean, there's some games that are a lot more like hardcore. Where you
Yeah.
have like a couple hundred people that enter into the tournament,
Huh.
and it comes down to anyway. I could go into a lot about this, but it's probably not on topic.
Yeah, because could you imagine just walking into just a board game and just silence? Because I guess it's possible.
Yeah.
Shh.
I mean, there's always.
What did you do? Yeah.
The bigger the tournament, like there's just a low key hum of talking while
Sure.
people are playing the game. But
Yeah.
there's a lot of drinking going on at those things usually too. That's probably true of all big. You gather a bunch of people
I
together.
feel that's
Yeah,
any
yeah.
event.
Yeah, I think so. Let's see, we got a question. Agent Bamboo, when will we get the new I Expect You to Die level? Yeah, so we are working on new content for I Expect You to Die. There will be a announcement about that soon.
Soon.
Yeah, so
Classic.
the Puchettes, it is much sooner than later. If that helps at all. But before the end of 2019, if that helps, before the holiday season starts.
That's a hard date. You're locking yourself down.
I know. And I'm going to stop where I'm at. So, yes, Agent Bamboo, you will see an announcement about I Expect You to Die very soon. Tyler has done a lot of the art for I Expect You to Die.
Sure.
So, how excited have you, or I don't know if you've been excited, but how do you feel about all the still the awareness and people flocking to that game? And I see you're rocking I Expect You to Die. I should have looked. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I'm the only non-Knights Schell. I have my Knights under.
Oh, I got my shirt. Oh, I got this one.
Yeah, but the
Oh, no, wait, I saw.
it's it's really cool. Like whenever we get posted online, it always gets sent out to the studio, and like you comb through the threads for like the good comments. Like this feels great that people say they like your game. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just excited for the next step.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's always awesome to see. Just like when we released the vault level,
Right.
Like we all kind of crowd up as a studio and watch the first Twitch stream. The first guy to beat it, who literally has to figure it out because no one else has, and you can watch him do it. Like, yeah, it's so good.
Yeah, and to add to what Tyler said, anytime we put out new content, if we haven't talked to content creators about streaming the day of, some of them just do it, and yeah, you better believe we crowd around TVs or people are sending out links in email and Slack. And we're watching the content, and it's a lot of fun because it's cool to just see how much people enjoy the experiences. And then I guess for you guys too, for the Knights, whenever you see people, I know I jumped into the Discord in one of the first weeks of the PEL, and just we were all commenting whenever the game was going on, and just it has to be cool to see people root for your teams.
It's surreal, honestly. And I've popped into Twitch chat a few times spamming like the Knights emote because I'm one of like 3 people subscribed to the Knights Twitch channel. Knights on Twitch, by the way, twitch.tv/Knights.
Wink, wink.
And if you have Amazon Prime, you get a free
Yeah,
subscription, right?
and it's
So,
free.
yeah.
Free stuff with Amazon
Get
Prime.
your
But
free
like,
Knights emote.
so I'm one of the
Yeah.
few people that like has that and spams. And then people are like, oh my gosh, where'd you get that emote? Where'd you get it? Knights? Kill Knights. Let's
Coveted
go.
rare emote.
Yeah.
Huh.
And I mean, it's really, really fun. And again, like being in the PEL, having European fans, and even with our Smite team, none of them are American. We have one of them's Australian, some are from Sweden, Denmark. We have a Scotsman and someone from Croatia. Like we just have fans around the world, and it's so cool to see people cheering us on.
Can I ask about? I've noticed that in difference from real sports, like no one has ever said to me like, "Well, the Penguins aren't from Pittsburgh, are they?" But like, I get that for the Knights a lot. Like, "Oh, they're not from Pittsburgh. That's weird." Do you guys get that distinction often, where people expect them to all be local?
We do.
So
We
weird.
have.
It's like Crosby's not from
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we have local players.
Our Madden Pro Deliverance.
Well,
was
no, our Madden Pro isn't, though he is a huge Steelers fan. When we had him up here for training camp, he brought like all his jerseys with him. It was really, really fun. But Hodzik, who is one of our Apex Legends pros, he's from Pittsburgh. He lives right in the city, so.
Yeah.
I mean, we have that Pittsburgh connection, and we're always looking for local talent. you know, it's just for some of the games when you like Smite, they came as a set, and
Yeah, yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, just couldn't really sub them out and be like, no,
It is
you
funny
need
that
to have a
people
local.
have that hang up though. It's like,
I mean, it's always nice to have the hometown hero.
Yeah.
But
Neil Walker.
yeah,
He was.
Yeah.
It was so sad when he went. He moved away, but
miss
it was,
him.
Yeah, but he's doing, or was doing
Well,
well, is doing well.
Isn't he down at anyway? I don't want to get
Yeah, that's a whole, the Pirates are a whole thing. But they're making some good changes.
Well,
So
the change. Well, we'll see.
they've made changes. They've made
vacated
changes.
seats.
Yeah, so we shall see.
Yeah.
But I'm
Cautiously optimistic.
there we go. Yes.
It happens.
Yes.
That's how sports work.
That's how
Esports or non-esports.
Yeah, it's all people who are from Pittsburgh or not. You know, it's just that is odd that you get those that they're not from Pittsburgh because I mean even the Steelers, like not many of them are from Pitt. I mean James Conner's from Erie. But
I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Really.
It might just be a misunderstanding of what esports is, maybe, or they assume everyone is a kid.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, like I interact with a lot of people who don't get esports. They have a loose idea, so maybe it's that. But
Yeah.
I'm always surprised when I hear that, especially when you see an interview with like a penguin. They have a heavy Russian accent.
It's amazing.
It's not a local, obviously.
I mean, I'd say most, if not all, of our staff are from Pittsburgh,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
at least we have that going for us. But you know, when it comes to esports, traditional sports, you can't limit your talent
Yeah,
pool to your
it's not
city.
important.
That'd be-
You-
that'd be
you
insane.
want the best of the best,
Yeah.
and so you have to go looking for them.
Yeah, I mean that's the whole professional part of it. Like you're trying to actually
Right.
win and all your stuff. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which actually is interesting. Like you're talking about. I mean, we're talking about the Pirates, but like even you guys have to you change rosters and stuff like that. Like how complicated does that get for you guys?
Yeah, we had our PUBG team in phase 2. We started phase 2 with we had to switch out half the
That's
roster.
the one I follow specifically. So.
Vox and Krama left us, and we brought in Snark and Wanted. But then, actually, partway through the second phase of Smite, we ended up swapping out our mid laner for our coach. And so there was, some stuff behind the scenes that, made that a necessity. But you do what you got to do to win and make sure that the teams are, performing their best. And it's just like any other sport. It's a business, and try to not let feelings get involved, because you do develop these connections with players.
Sure.
But I mean, at the end of the day, we got to win.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh City of Champions, and Pittsburgh Knights aim to do the same thing.
Do you find it really complicated to? Because an organization generally, it's like okay, the Steelers, they worry about football. But
Right.
you guys have to worry about any number of games. Like a lot of times, companies having to be involved. Like, oh wait, what's the new game? Like it's such a weird thing. I feel like you have to worry about.
It does present an interesting challenge, but it's one that we all love to tackle. I mean, it's a really nice thing about being an esports team is we don't have to specifically be in one game or another. So the really nice thing about video games in general is that there's so many different genres, and so many different people have so many different games that they like. So whenever we go into a new game, then we gain access to that community, we gain access to that scene, and it's just super nice to be able to expand. And it's also really nice, I think Taylor could speak to the partnership perspective, because you have all of these companies who are then able to gain access to these massive fan bases that follow maybe only one game. Because that's what a lot of people do. Like you said, you follow Dota. That's your thing. You follow our PUBG team. There are a lot of people who only follow one specific game. And the nice thing is, whenever we get into their game, then we can bring them into the Knights, and it's great.
Yeah, I mean, exactly what Will says. It's kind of funny, because I think each of the Knights staff members, we have our favorite game, and so I probably watch Smite the most out of all of our teams, and so I know a little bit more about the positioning and some of the gods and stuff that they play with versus another person, and so I find myself explaining picks and bans as they're going on, to the rest of our staff, and meanwhile, the person that watches Rocket League the most is like, oh, that's like a really cool move that he just did. And I'm just like, I don't know why that's cool, but I guess.
I mean, it's Rocket League. Everything looks cool, right? It's like...
Again, soccer cars, like, you can't go wrong.
Do you find that people come in as fans for one game and then become Knights fans and then, like, spread out to the other games that they have teams in? Or they stick to their
We have a
lane?
handful, OG fans that, stuck with us since the PUBG days and have since, branched out into the other ones. But I think it's kind of the nice thing about esports is that you can follow a team but not necessarily have to follow, like, each of the games that they're in. I mean, I think, like, Liquid is a really good example of that.
Yep.
I don't follow first-person shooters outside of what, we do for the org, but, I'm a big League of Legends fan, so, like, I know what Team Liquid's doing in League of Legends, so.
Yeah, I think part of it's, like, it's smart that you guys kind of, like, picked a city, right? Like, I mean, I'm glad it's my city, but, like, that's one of the big reasons why I started looking into it anyway. It's like, sure, I'll root for another hometown kind of group and stuff like that.
I think because esports has a history of being very player-focused, and so another example, taking from the League of Legends scene is that I'm a big fan of a player, his name's Medios. He was a jungler for C9, and then he was a jungler for Phoenix 1, and then he was a jungler for Optic Gate. Like, I was not a fan of the orgs, I was following the player as he jumped from org to org. But now, like, you can be a Pittsburgh fan and follow the Knights no matter who we have playing for us. And so that's part of what the Overwatch League was doing.
That seems really smart.
So yeah, just the local market, and that helps too, not only for fans but for sponsorships. Right. So like Sheets is one of our sponsors because we're the Pittsburgh Knights. If we were just the Knights out of who knows where, Seattle, let's say, the Sheets would have no connection to us and we wouldn't have that sponsorship. So it really helps.
Yeah.
Good deal.
Just to follow up on that, so when's your Dota team? I'm waiting.
Is Dota one of the games that, like, you need, like, a buy-in?
Probably, yeah. I mean, you guys would know better than I do.
Dota's just one of those games, like, that scene is so developed and, like, they're the smallest, biggest scene, I think, like, in all of esports. Like, I don't know that anyone can really crack into it super easily.
Getting into Rocket League presented its own set of interesting issues, so I cannot imagine what it would be like trying to break into a community that's as established as Dota, but it's definitely a challenge, I think, because at the end of the day, a lot of the games that are very large and have a lot of followers tend to already have those established communities. So don't take this as saying, like, we'll never try to get into Dota or League of Legends or Counter-Strike or Overwatch. I mean, we go wherever we go, and that's kind of the best way to say it.
And part of it, too, is just for the longer that a game has been a recognized esport, I think, in the eyes of fans and sponsors, just the more expensive it is to get into. And so, we're still a small organization, and you got to raise money to buy those good teams to win those championships, or you start from the very bottom and hope that your team's good enough to work their way up. So there's like the two options that you have.
I mean, it's very different than your traditional sports, right? So
right.
Like, you don't have, like, it's not just one game. You don't have, like, there's no the NFL, right? There's no
here's
NFL.
The NFL celebrating 100 years, and here we are, celebrating 2.
Yeah, it's not just that. It's like, the NFL in esports is generally the company who made the game, which is very different than other sports.
Well, NFL invented football, though. It's like the same thing.
The companies in the esports, though, are actually super nice. So we've been starting to run some tournaments online in some of the games that we're in. And some of the developers will provide us with prizing support. They'll help us to get in touch with community members because when we started to do tournaments, we were very concerned that we were going to try to get in and we were going to crush other community organizations, which of course is not something that we want to do. So we reached out to all of these developers and they were so kind and they got us in touch with all of their community members and said, okay, here are the people that you want to work with that we've worked with. And this is going to be the way to kind of bridge yourself into the community and become accepted and do this the right way. So a lot of the orgs are very supportive, I think, of esports teams, especially when it comes to community involvement.
Yeah. I mean, it'd be kind of crazy otherwise because it's almost like free marketing.
Right. You grow the community, you help grow your own game.
Yeah,
exactly.
Is that sort of the case with High Res? Because you guys have 2 teams right now that are like big with High Res.
Love High Res.
Their support.
Love High Res.
Yeah, they've been pretty great. I mean, the leagues that they have themselves, but then I think they've also, Smite specifically, I think they're running like 2 different collegiate leagues now because they had, comments from the community that were concerned about, some of them weren't able to qualify for one league because of whether it be like the schools that they go to or whatever. So then they opened it up to 2, and now it literally just doubled, their tournament participants. So it's really nice to see developers, working with their communities to help grow their game.
Cool. You brought up, with Hi-Res working with some collegiate teams. How have you seen the rise of collegiate and even high school, esports leagues? You're really, taking off, because I'm sure you guys are hear a lot more than we do. I just get the stuff from Esports Insider and some of the the niche publications who are covering it, and even in the esports gaming Discord, there are a couple of high school esports organizers trying to get things off the ground. How do you see that kind of going?
So I've actually been lucky enough to be the one kind of from the Knight standpoint that's been in contact with a lot of the different colleges and high schools in the area. And we have had people reach out to us from the different universities talking to us about how we can get involved in their programs or how they can scrim against their teams and various things like that. It definitely is in its infancy. Especially collegiate. The interesting thing is once you get to go to kind of the different levels of infrastructure within the colleges where the esports exist. So for an example, CMU has a massive esports club. They have a ton of students who go out and they'll watch the League World Championship series. They'll watch all of that stuff. But at the end of the day, whenever it comes to actually competing, they don't get as much university support as RMU. RMU has really built out its esports program very quickly, and they have invested very heavily. They have a LAN center, so they have some seriously good PCs. They have students who play competitive Rocket League, and they're one of the best collegiate Rocket League teams in the country.
RMU?
So, yeah,
really?
It's really interesting. Different universities take very different approaches to it.
Allie, our marketing coordinator, she's a RMU grad, and so she's celebrating the news on away from the camera.
My niece is graduating from there this year. So.
Oh, no way. Oh, well, congrats to your niece. Yeah. So, I'm sorry, go on.
Oh, sure. So right now I just think, in my perspective at least, and I don't know if Taylor would have anything else to add, it's definitely getting to a point where colleges are slowly starting to recognize it, and I think high schools will start to recognize it even more as colleges start to begin to offer scholarships or begin to recruit for a Rocket League player as much as they go and recruit for a football player. I think that once you break that barrier, that's when you're really going to start to see a lot of universities and a lot of high schools start to pay more attention and run events. And you're going to see a lot more developers start to devote the resources to do collegiate stuff. Rocket League's developer Psyonix, they have a collegiate league. Hi-Res has their Smite Collegiate League. But some of these other developers aren't necessarily prioritizing the collegiate scene yet because it is still so young. And it's essentially a case of there are a lot of students who want these programs to exist within their colleges, but they're looking for recognition from universities, and it's just a matter of being able to show the administrations of these different universities that there is enough for them to be investing in, enough value to invest in esports as a university and have it pay off versus investing in something such as traditional sports or another thing.
Yeah, just to kind of build off of that, there are two ways that colleges are kind of looking at esports and then video gaming kind of as a whole. Is from the purely competitive side, you can have these teams compete in tournaments, winning prize money, and some of these prize pools are just getting absolutely insane, or they just see it kind of as a different way of marketing to prospective students is, here, yes, come here for your studies and to earn your degree, but when you want to take a breather, we have a LAN center. You can just come and play some casual games with friends. And so, two sides of the same coin, really.
Yeah, I think back at like my college years and just like even the traditional sports, right? Like, they mostly exist they bring in money, right?
Right.
Nowadays, right? Like, there's a little bit of like, oh, it's for the sport itself, but it's like, well, in reality, like they're hoping their teams are bringing in some amount of money, and then when you go down to like high school, it's really just feeding into that college thing,
Right.
and like. I've worked with enough schools for other projects, like they don't have a lot of budgets. So like that's going to be, you really need to sell the value of that like building up like a computer lab that can handle that kind of thing, or like buying a bunch of the consoles and that kind of thing. Because they already have a football field because they've had it for forever.
Right.
Yeah.
And even sometimes those they have a hard time getting the budgets to upkeep them and whatnot. So.
And the nice thing about a football field too is you can do soccer on it. You can do a variety of different games. So a school looks at that and they think, okay, well I'm going to have one investment and I'm going to invest in a field, and then I have access to all of these NCAA sports. So it's definitely challenging, but a fun challenge too.
And then just from the Knights end, part of, I guess, our role in the city of Pittsburgh and just being a member of the esports community at large is educating, schools when they come to us asking about, esports. Just kind of trying to give them advice, point them in the right direction. It's like, well, what do you want out of this? Is it going to be a marketing thing, or do you really want to get into the competitive scene? And so that's kind of the responsibility, I think, of teams and organizations in the space, is just to educate, and then everything kind of builds itself from there.
Yeah.
Things are changing pretty drastically and quickly in the scene as well, though, right? Like,
yeah, absolutely. We can make decisions one day that impact, decisions made by other organizations, like in the same week, within hours even. So everything moves so fast.
It's really nice though. Keeps everything moving. There's always something new to be working on.
Never a dull moment, as they say.
No.
You read something, it's like, oh, we're gonna have to address that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another thing that I'm just curious about with the NCAA, now that a lot of them are considering letting student athletes get paid once esports. Yeah, I think esports will eventually be recognized as an NCAA sport. I think that is in the horizon in probably in the next 5 years. And then with the type of money that is coming in with video games, or with esports, I see esports, the trend of adoption growing at a faster rate.
I think one of the big things that was just announced, I believe a few days ago, was the organization Gen G partnered with the University of Kentucky.
Right.
So, I mean, that's, in the collegiate space, that's huge news, because Gen G is such a large and recognized organization.
Are they a Korean org?
I believe so.
Yeah.
They're a massive organization. I'm pretty sure that right now their president or someone is an ex-MLB executive. So that
sounds right.
Yeah, they went in and they just managed to just completely lift Gen G. It is now massive and really nice to see it growing.
I feel like this is going to grow fast because it's existed in colleges for a long time. Like I played competitive Quake World Team Fortress back in the 90s, but there wasn't any sort of structure to it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's really neat to see, speaking of a few colleges in our area, CMU, even though they haven't really gotten a lot of recognition from the university yet, they still host a weekly Smash tournament. So they rent out a room in Scaife Hall every week, every Friday, and they have people come out and they play Super Smash Bros. Ultimate or Super Smash Bros. Melee. And it's really nice to see that the students are very
Tyler took his notes before the stream, so it's fine.
And they really want to create this and establish this scene. So
That's cool.
There's definitely still that there, and a lot, personally, what I think is in the end going to make colleges recognize it is not even as necessarily a competitive outlet, but as a student life outlet. Like you said, or Taylor said, I think, there are two sides to what these universities are treating it as. And I think that it's the combination of the two that's really going to bring universities to say, okay, well, let's put in $100,000 and create a LAN-ready PC center with streaming rigs and all of the other stuff and bells and whistles that we need. So it's definitely the combination of the two that is helping it to grow slowly, but it's definitely gaining traction.
Yeah.
Very cool.
It's already there. Just making it official is really the
Yeah,
key
just
to it,
build,
right?
building the infrastructure that these traditional, organizations want, right? And feel comfortable with. But even that, I don't know if a traditional structure can contain it. So things are going to have to change. But I think you're right. I think things will.
Looking forward to colleges supporting the competition happening even with the school instead of the old network admins yelling at us for using the network for traffic from back in the 90s.
That's right. Let's see. Okay, so So we have about 11 or 10 to 15 minutes left, so get your questions in. Again, anything with the Knights, Schell Games, until you follow DreamHack Atlanta, or anything in between.
Is the Atlanta DreamHack coming up, or is that the one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was the one your Rocket League
The
team?
Peeps won
Yeah.
DreamHack Montreal.
Okay.
Yeah.
You guys, so that was already set before they won that, but
Yeah,
it wasn't
we-
official. Like,
We had signed them literally right before, and they won, and we're on stage in T-shirts because we couldn't announce them yet, and so
oh, that's rough.
yeah, from a marketing
Yeah.
standpoint,
Yeah, I know,
branding,
right?
my heart is very, very sore still. I saw that 100,000 viewers on Twitch, and I was
Just go back, take the footage.
Superimpose
Put an
over
editor,
top.
Yeah, just re-upload the video.
Photoshop some.
Yeah.
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 It was definitely worth the wait, though. The Rocket League team is just phenomenal. Super kind people who are just really dedicated to their game, and they're great to work with.
So next one's in Atlanta, you said?
Yeah.
Are they playing there?
They are not. They are still. I think by the time Atlanta rolls around, they will be done with the RLCS season because that was only 5 weeks. But then we're still waiting to hear back on what the 2020 DreamHack circuit is going to be.
Okay.
So what else are the Knights up to? Now's your time to tell us what's going on.
Can I ask a specific question?
Go for
Being
it.
a PUBG fan,
Go for it.
and I know that is there actually. So here's the question: is there anything you can give me about like is there something coming up in the next year? Like, what's the plan for the org?
Truthfully, we don't know.
Okay.
I know our team that work closely with the game developers are still waiting to hear back what the plan is for 2020, and so once we have things figured out, we will make some announcements.
But luckily, you have PUBG Mobile to tie you over.
It's true.
Yeah, and our PUBG Mobile team has been killing it lately.
Fire.
So I mean, it's the same game. They're just playing it on
I
their
just say,
phones.
I even got my 73-year-old father into Twitch and stuff
Oh my.
from watching the Knights
That's
play
great.
in
That's awesome.
the tournament like a year and a half ago. Which one was that one? It was down.
Maybe?
Yeah,
Maybe.
Yeah.
but yeah, I was watching it, just visiting. At
Was
one
that
point.
the one where Drayden carried the whole team
That-
to
yeah.
Sweden?
I believe that was.
Or no, that was the last regular play of the season before GLL.
No, well, we did it twice.
Oh, we did it.
He-
Okay.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, Drayden was a great.
I mean, it was. I know it was over 4th of July
Okay.
weekend, so it was a tournament going on during that. But yeah, like he watches Twitch all the time now, so
That's awesome.
That's great.
Nice to hear.
he has his own jersey.
See, there is no minimum or
Nope.
maximum age for gaming and
It's the
esports.
greatest.
Like, you just get into it.
It's,
Find what you like.
It's super nice too because when we ran the event at Replay FX, we ran actually what is now it qualified as a Smash major. You needed to hit a certain number of attendees to get it registered as a major, and we actually managed to hit that. So
Cool.
we're super excited for that. And we were running the event there, and you would have parents just sitting there watching their kids play. And it was really interesting to see because it wasn't like they were on their phones or anything while their kids played video games. They were engaged. They were paying attention. They were making sure that their kids were doing well. It's really interesting to see that kind of engagement being present, especially in tournaments.
That's cool.
That's cool.
Okay, so the piggyback off of Matt's questions, in Q4 2019, Q1 2020, is there stuff that you can let us know what's going on?
I mean, as far as, Will doing community events,
Yes.
what tournaments do you have coming up?
So we're going to be running another Smite tournament. We're going to be running a Rocket League tournament. We're building infrastructure for more games than that too right now. It just takes a little bit of time to get everything involved because, as I said earlier, I don't want to go in and quash any of the existing community organizers. So we like to get in touch with them, build the bridge to them, and then have them help us run things. It also makes sure that we do it correctly so we don't end up alienating an entire community. So some ones that I've been looking at, we're looking at running stuff in Fortnite, League of Legends for a TFT tournament, just stuff like that. Any of those types of games we're very excited to get into. Eventually what we want to do is we want to have an online set of tournaments that would seed into a local event. And that's something that I've been working on very heavily recently, and we should have more details soon if I do my job correctly. So.
That's really exciting.
But yeah, tournaments are definitely, tournaments and events are something that the Knights have really been focused on. But on top of that too, just community engagement in general and building our audience, not only in Pittsburgh, but around the world. we have a really fun campaign coming up called The Knights Before Christmas. So for most of December, I know.
It's bad good, but it's good.
It is.
We
it
love
is.
our puns.
We do. So from December 1st through the 25th, we're just going to be running a bunch of giveaways and, putting up special content. So I'd say just keep an eye on our social medias for that. We're just celebrating 2019. It was such a big year for us. We're just going to give a big shout out to all of our sponsors. So we'll be giving away sheet stuff. We'll be giving away HyperX gear. So for all you people that maybe you're looking for an upgrade for the holiday season, who knows? But yeah, I mean, Steelers stuff. We had our announcement in July with our partnership with Wiz Khalifa. So we have like Wiz Khalifa merch and Taylor Gang merch. Like it's just going to be really, really fun, really exciting. And we're looking forward to that. And I think probably have a couple announcements between now and the end of the year. We just can't share them yet.
Yeah,
So
we got a lot of stuff too coming up next year that we're very excited
And where can people find more information, and where can they, link up with your Knights community?
So our main website is knights.gg, KNIGHTS.GG. You can find us on Twitter, KnightsGG. On Instagram, we are simply just Knights. We have a Facebook page. You can join our Discord. The links are on our Twitter, YouTube,
Reddit.
We
have a Reddit.
We're
Please
everywhere.
join our Reddit. We really are trying to build this right. It's great. We're going to be doing Ask Me Anythings actually with the Rocket League team soon on our Reddit. So we're going to be doing things with it, I promise. It just took us a little bit.
Yeah, so if you find one of our socials, they'll point you to the others, and the links, like I said, to Twitter, Instagram, and Discord, I think, are really, really good. And then actually, we will be announcing our affiliate program tomorrow.
Yeah,
so a little preview. I want to get into that.
Sure. So we had a program called Quest Mode, and it was a community affiliate streamer program where people could join our stream team and work with it. Unfortunately, it kind of came at a time where we were growing very quickly as an organization, and we did not have the necessary resources to devote to make it what we wanted it to be, which was very engaging. So we've decided, now that we have all of our ducks in a row and are at a really nice time where we have people who can help us run it and make sure that it all goes smoothly, we're going to announce a new affiliate program that people can apply for, and through that affiliate program you'll qualify for free merch, playing with maybe a pro or two, getting on streams, maybe streaming on the Knights channel, and various other things that we're going to be doing, and we're very much looking forward to rolling that out. And that actually should be happening in the next few days, I believe.
Yeah, so be on the lookout for that. Any up-and-coming, aspiring streamer, fill out the application for the affiliate program, and we want to point people in the right direction, because when you help one person, and hopefully they build the community together.
Cool. Okay, so we did get another question, got it in time. DJ Flack, can you tell us any more about in what ways people like Malkin, Wiz Khalifa, and other local partners are involved with the Knights?
So that's a great question. So again, even with support for, our giveaways like the Knights Before Christmas, like I said, Wiz Khalifa's team, is providing stuff for that. The Wiz partnership is a really, really unique one. We have support from him on a lot of different areas. And so he's going to help boost our announcements. We actually are planning to do a live stream at some point with him. We're still in the process of planning that. There will be event appearances, potentially even him writing a song for the Knights. So, I mean, it literally, there's just so much, with him. And he was just really wanted to get into esports. And because we are the Pittsburgh Knights and Wiz Khalifa is from Pittsburgh, that's how we were able to capture him before going off to another, organization like Drake did with 100 Thieves. So, and then Evgeny Malkin, I'm not as sure on his involvement, but he, being another prominent figure in Pittsburgh, it really helps kind of bring eyes towards the organization and people seeing the legitimacy behind us when you have the Steelers, Evgeny Malkin, and like Wiz Khalifa names backing us up.
It
So
was super neat, actually. One of the reasons why we specifically wanted to try to get Malkin involved was because I think about 4 years ago he posted a photo on his Instagram and hashtagged Navi, which is a Ukrainian esports team, and Counter-Strike. And right there, we knew that we wanted to get him involved and get him
yeah,
on
he's
board.
a huge Counter-Strike fan. He
so weird.
loves to play
I mean,
so much.
Yeah.
Right age.
Yeah.
Right?
He loves actually a player, I think, that our president used to coach named Simple. He's one of the best Counter-Strike players in the world. So, yeah, it's super neat to have both of them on board. We're very much looking forward to working with them to help expand the Knights and hopefully get them into esports too and gain them new fans.
That's going to be interesting.
That'd be great.
How does that work with, like, you have a player in another professional sport? Like, they have a players union, and, like, the team, like, is there any, like, okay, now the NHL is involved in some way?
Juju is the person that comes to mind immediately with that, and so everything that he does outside of the Steelers, because the CBA only covers what he does football-wise, which is with his involvement in FaZe Clan, is something completely separate from
Okay.
the NFL. So as long as it's not interfering with his duties, for the Steelers, he can have those two separate lives, and so that's kind of the nice thing about esports is that we don't really have those restrictions on us yet, and so our players can do a bunch of things, and the orgs can collaborate with a bunch of different people, and so everything's still new and fresh, and you just test the waters, and if you find out it's something that works well, then go for it.
Cool. DJ Fleck also asked Knights goals for the rest of 2019 and 2020, but you guys kind of talked about that of doing more events, getting more aligned in the community, and kind of activating those.
Win every tournament,
win every tournament.
That's goal number one is to win.
Yeah.
that is the goal.
Yeah,
number
just
one.
take over
We wanna
Rocket League.
bring home all the tournaments.
Yeah.
Whenever you will win like another Stanley Cup or Lombardi, hopefully. Sometimes they'll display it at like the Heinz History Center, and people get to go, we want to have an RLCS trophy next to it.
There you go. There you
and
go.
get that in. So, yeah, we're definitely looking at winning games, of course, and really focusing too on developing our events infrastructure and community, because that's frankly something that we as an org are very interested in, is getting people out, getting people involved with esports, and getting people to play and compete. It's such a fun time, and everyone can do it too.
Very cool.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you very much, guys. And if you want to see Schell Games and the Pittsburgh Knights in the same place again, head to DreamHack Atlanta, November 15th through the 17th. Like we said, there'll hopefully be more teams of the Pittsburgh Knights going down there and competing. We're so excited to see how the Smite team does, and hopefully the PUBG Mobile and the Paladins folks can make it down as well. You'll be able to see our game Until You Fall at DreamHack, so please stop by our booth in the next couple of days. Whenever the exhibitor map comes out, we can tell you exactly where we are, because I am excited about our position. And we're excited to be there. The team is just pumped to go, so if I get a break, I'll be able to run over and watch the team play. But thank you guys so much for coming by, and I hope in sometime in 2020 we could do this again.
Absolutely. Thank you for having us.
Yeah. Cool. So, if you haven't subscribed yet, whenever we can announce whenever the Pittsburgh Knights are coming back onto our YouTube channels, subscribe so you'll get that notification. Just like the Knights Schell Games, we have our Facebook, Twitter. We also have a Reddit. Follow us as well. We love that Reddit game. Our Discord, it's focused on Until You Fall, but we have different channels that you can talk about different games, such as I Expect You to Die. You could talk about all the awesome art that Tyler created in the game.
I read the feedback.
Yeah.
You do.
Yeah.
Always in there.
No, I believe it. I totally believe it. We'll make you a moderator for that channel. But thank you so much for stopping by, and we will see you next month. And next month we'll have the I Expect You to Die team on. So surprise! So we'll be able to talk more about the game and what's going on there. So thank you guys for watching the stream.
Thank you.
See ya.